What's up, everyone? Welcome to the most real podcast you'll ever listen to. This is Unpolished, told by KirkSlay, and I am GlamSlay.
And this is Kirk, and we are back at it again with another hot one for you guys. This one is, obviously as we're in Mental Health Awareness Month, we'd like to continue on with sharing some of these conversations that we feel need to be had.
You know, you bring up a good point because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I feel like I don't even have time to namaste. Like, that's really bad when you can't even stop to breathe.
I know, it's so crazy. I've been actually telling my teams, like, hey, take a step back, go out, get some fresh air, you know.
It is, like, this month has been so crazy. I'm so tired.
It's a whirlwind. And you got a big day coming up soon, don't you?
Don't remind me.
I thought you were excited.
I'm not excited anymore.
Oh man, it's been one of those.
But that's next week's episode. We're gonna do the turn up.
Oh yeah.
Although very funny story. Now that we're talking about birthdays, before we get into this, because I have to share how hilarious the story was about you. So for everyone, all our listeners, my son is turning 8, and so we had a huge party. It was a big family affair, so of course Kirk was present.
Yeah, you know how to pull up.
And I threw his party at a bowling alley at Patriot Place. It's like a bar / bowling alley. No, there were not 8-year-olds at a bar, so relax. It was so fun. I mean, there were like 30 kids there. It was just
Shirley Temples.
Yeah, it was wild. And so the manager there, who was terrible, Kirk and I almost killed this man because he got super disrespectful and Amir. I
mean, listen.
You saw me turn up.
You turn up, I turn up.
I don't even think he knew what I was saying to the man. He just saw me like turning up like I usually do.
All I heard was, "Excuse me, what did you just say?" That was it.
And he just came over my shoulder and got in the guy's face. And I was like, whoa. Like, he didn't even know why he was turning up. And I said to him after, I was like, man, you just like, you went hard for me right then. And he was like, I don't even know what happened. And I said, well, you have to bail me out of jail. And he was like, nah, I'm going to be in the cell next to you. And so I joked with him because I said, I don't think we look good in stripes. So, but I had to share that because it was hilarious. I feel like we can't go anywhere. We always get into some kind of trouble.
I mean, look, I value customer service, man.
The guy was super disrespectful. He was
so good customer service.
Rude to our all the kids that were there. We had 1 million parents there, and they all heard him, and it just was unnecessary. I had to.
Man, you don't talk to kids like that, especially kids that ain't your own. So.
Yeah, and they were actually being really well behaved. Yeah. I mean, they were having a good time. It was funny, but I had to share because that's lighten up the mood here.
This dude, all I heard was, excuse me, what did you just say?
That was enough for you to.
That was it.
It was the switch.
That's all we needed.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah, you already know. I'm
just not sure who was bailing us out of jail because my mom turned up too, and that was just we would have been sitting there for a while.
Oh my gosh, too crazy. But no, it was good. I enjoyed myself. Had a lot of candy and cake.
A lot of cake. That cake was really good.
Cake was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. It was Pokemon life.
I remember Pokemon started. All right, I'm not going to date myself. Let's now
that you're going to make me feel old because I don't even know who any of these Pokemon people are.
Yeah, we're going to leave that one alone.
But anyway, no, I feel like it's kind of sad that Mental Health Awareness Month, and I really have not slowed down for 1 second. I keep telling everybody to do that, like you mentioned.
Yep.
I haven't done it myself. I'm so exhausted, and that's a bad habit.
It's terrible, but you still got some time. You got half the month left to go. You know, namaste.
Yeah,
namaste.
Oh
my gosh, we're about to end this thing before we can get started.
Yeah. Okay. So Kirk, we're going to talk about anxiety. I think it's a really important topic.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely wanted to talk about this one. Anxiety is the most common mental disorder in the United States. It's impacting a lot of adults, impacts a lot of, adolescents and teenage children. So, we really wanted to shed some light and speak some facts, drop some stats, and share some of our experiences with anxiety as well. Because I know, you've said that you've had some struggles with anxiety too, right?
God, yeah. I can't even remember a time where I didn't suffer from it.
Right. So, it's another one of those topics that are close to us, and definitely want to just talk about it more, raise some more awareness, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month.
And I think a lot of people don't like to admit that they have anxiety. So I make it a point to share my anxiety with people to make them feel comfortable.
Some folks think it's like a weakness or something.
I mean, it's life. You have the stats. It's crazy how many people it impacts.
It's crazy. It is what it is, man. I mean, listen, anxiety, it's not a bad thing to have. I mean, it could be bad. It could be debilitating, but
yeah, and I get nervous because I see my son start to take on those traits, and I try to really lighten that load for him because I don't want him to be like me.
That's important. But let's jump in here. So we have definitely want to start it off with a definition of what anxiety is. So anxiety is the body's response to worry and fear, and there's several different kind of anxiety disorders. There's a panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Did you say social?
No, I don't. Social anxiety, another one. That one's probably raising. I don't know if you saw anything more about the social anxiety, but I didn't really read much about. Like, I just feel like that one's like,
Yeah, I actually read a lot about it, and it's crazy that people that have. I shouldn't use the word crazy. It's just eye-opening that people that have social anxiety can't even go to a mall. Yeah. They can't go to a grocery store without, the sweats, the panic attacks, all of that.
Yeah, the phobias. The phobias is a lot. It was, I think, the last one that was on the list. But yeah, no, it is pretty wild. I think it's just more eye-opening to see the numbers. Like, after that was one thing for me. While we were doing the research, things like that. It's the numbers that are so alarming, of how many people are impacted
and how many people don't get help.
Right.
I read a lot about that, and that's really sad. Whether it's because of insurance or they don't know who to go to, it's really important to raise that awareness and encourage people to get help if you need it.
Right. Yeah. I am happy to see that I was reading that some insurances are getting better at including mental health. And
yeah, I have to say that my company, the whole month, they were hosting webinars through our insurance company, and it was all about, how to cope, how to avoid burnout, how to, take some time, breathe, like all different. Every week was a different topic. So I think it's good that, companies are doing that and really encouraging their employees to be mindful of it.
Yeah, no, it's great. So some symptoms. You know the common symptoms of anxiety?
I'm going to take a wild guess that lack of sleep is one of them, because I suffer from that.
Yeah, definitely. Loss of sleep. If you're losing a lot of sleep over things, worry, excessive panic, restlessness, like in the feeling of like always being on the edge, like, feeling like something's really about to happen, and you're like, and then excessive fatigue actually is one of them too.
Yikes. I'm just going to leave now because I feel like I have all of the above.
Yeah, I mean, it's very common. It is something that's very, very common. And I mean, man, some of these things. But then how do you separate those that are like, oh, well, I have all of those things, and does that mean I have anxiety?
No, I don't think that's... it does make me mad because I've suffered with anxiety for so long, and I was physically diagnosed with it at a young age. I think it got worse as I got older, to be honest with you. But it does bother me when people kind of use that as like they think it's a joke and they'll say, well, I have anxiety. Do you though? Like, are you just saying that because you hear other people saying it? Like, I don't know that a lot of people know what true anxiety is until you've experienced it. Like, I've literally had panic attacks where I thought I was having a heart attack, like to the point where my heart beats really fast. I like get pain in my chest. That's a really severe and real thing.
Real. It's real. Yeah. I used to shut down. Like I've shut down before because of that. Like I had to like
I believe it.
Go and get picked up like from the place where I was at because
I will never forget. You know, my friend Nicole, one of my dearest friends, we've talked about this whole situation in prior pods. She literally almost had to come get me on the side of the road one day because I called her and she heard in my voice that I was like hyperventilating, and she was like, I want you to stop the car and tell me where you are. And I kept driving and she was yelling into the phone, and I just remember that moment of like, oh my God, I lost all control of myself.
Right.
Like I'm lucky I got from point A to point B because it was so scary.
Yeah. No, I mean, and people experience that all the time. Like then there's some people that are experiencing that kind of stuff like constantly too. You know, over anything that they're experiencing, like anything that might come up in their day.
Yeah, I mean you said it well, debilitating. It can be.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think something that we definitely should clear up too, though, is the difference between anxiety and depression, because I know a lot of times, people might think, that they are one and the same, but they are, they do have some differences, especially in like definition of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested because I feel like I don't know that I put anxiety and depression in the same when I think about it, but I guess people do.
I mean, some people, experience them both at the same time, like simultaneously.
Well, I guess that was going to be my question. Do you think that having anxiety could lead to depression?
Yeah, I think so. For sure.
It's a good call out.
Yeah. But so anxiety is, as we said, the excessive feeling of worry or fear. But depression is the excessive feeling of worthlessness and hopelessness.
Jeez.
So just like
it's really morbid.
That's how how you can really distinguish the two from each other.
Yeah. I mean, I suffered from postpartum depression. I guess that's similar, right? A lot of women go through that. They go through that after, birth and children and all of that. It's a very... I didn't know what it was, and I ended up having to get a lot of education from my doctor at the time because it's like a mix of emotion. But I see that now.
That's very common too.
Yeah.
It's very common. So the big question here is, I think we kind of started to get into it, but do you experience anxiety?
You think? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I on a regular basis, it's really sad to say. I experience at least once a day, a point in my day where it takes over. And I'm finding it more over the last couple of months. I don't know if it's just I put a lot of pressure on myself or what it is. I wish I knew. I mean, I was diagnosed at a very young age. It got a lot worse when I was pregnant with my son. And then obviously I shared I had postpartum depression, which was horrible. I remember, like 6 weeks after I had my son, I was probably the skinniest I've ever been. I like worked my mind into a frenzy of I had to lose my baby weight and I had to, I was so skinny. Like when I look at pictures, my arm, you could literally it was so tiny. I looked frail. But I thought I was great, like that was in my mind. It was so mental. So I struggled with that for a long time after I had my son. And I think my anxiety just started getting worse and worse. And then I went through a very traumatic experience and suffered from PTSD. And to some extent still live with that. And it's been almost 6 years. So I think... yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, I suffer from it all the time.
Yeah, no, that's but I think you've been doing a really good job though, as like trying to like cope with some of those things too. Like, what have you been doing for, like, to help cope when, like, because you're very cognizant of what you've been experiencing and those feelings. Like, what have you been doing to like cope with it?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to cope with it. I'm gonna be very real. I don't know what to do for myself. When I see somebody else dealing with it, I could give you all the advice in the world and talk you off the ledge.
Can't we all?
I don't know what to do to stop this because it is very real. I mean, I started taking melatonin, and I know you gave me a lot of crap for that because you said I'm gonna get like hooked on them. I think I am though. It's no joke. Like I ran out and
You're gonna, like, I just feel like you're not gonna be able to sleep without it.
I don't think I can. How crazy is that? Like I started taking the melatonin gummies and because my mind just races at night. Like I'm still working at 11 o'clock at night and I'm still working at 2 a.m. when I wake up in the middle of the night and think about.
You need a shut off switch.
I don't have one. Like I don't. I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. I carry everybody else's shit. I don't know how to turn it off. And so you're asking me, like, you think I'm coping with it well? I have no idea what I'm doing.
I mean, well, then from the outside looking in, you're doing a good job of putting up the front.
Well, that's great. But at the end of the day, my anxiety is not getting any better. I think it's gotten so much worse. And I just, I obviously have to stay cool for my kid, right? I'm never going to let him see that side of me, but I don't know. What about you?
Well, first, before I get into me, please be sure to stay on this podcast because we are going to release some ways that you can.
Well, I don't think I can go anywhere, so sure.
I know you're the other half of this, so. But no, I just tried to crack a little bit of a joke. But
he's funny, you guys. He thinks he's so funny.
But yeah, no, I definitely do experience anxiety. I was diagnosed with a form of anxiety, PTSD, a few years back, probably about 5 to 7 years ago. I had a pretty crazy experience. Life-changing, but also life-threatening experience, and I came out on the better end, as you can tell. I'm still here.
Thank goodness for that.
Could easily not be here. Could have been killed, honestly. But yeah, definitely experienced it. It made me some things that like experience for me that it. The PTSD kind of also caused like a little bit of agoraphobia for me. Where like you don't fear of going outside.
Oh, I'm right with you.
Yeah, so like I was like for a while I didn't go outside. I wouldn't go outside. To the point where I even had to relocate. I went away to a different like state to kind of deal with some of that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely deep,
I feel like you and I bonded over it sounds horrible, but we bonded over our traumatic experiences that we both faced when we first met. I remember like chatting with you long, hours of conversation because it was very similar. It was different, but it was very similar.
I mean, yeah, but also, you kind of find solace in similarities when someone can relate to what you're feeling, or what you have felt. So, yeah, I've been dealing with that for a long time, and I want to say I've been better, but at the same time, I've actually realized that since COVID hit, it brought me back to where I was and probably even further back from where I've come,
Why do you think that is? Just because it was okay to be locked in the house? Yeah, that's bad.
I rarely leave my house.
So, but like when you are in a social situation, like I've been in Vegas with you in a club. You were just at my kid's party. That was in a social environment. You were talking to a lot of people. Do you get anxiety? Does it kick in when you're in that kind of environment?
Yeah. I'm terrified.
That's crazy because you would never know it.
In my head, yeah.
I've been out with you places so many times, and I mean, there are times where you're like, we need to go. Yeah. And I know that you're like feeling some type of way.
It also makes me drink a lot though, too, when I'm out.
Yeah, that's bad.
So like I'll to kind of drown out the feelings, I'll
That's really bad.
Get hammered.
I didn't go outside like after my traumatic experience because it was also life-threatening. I lived by myself.
Yeah.
It would get dark and I would shut all the shades, lock every door, put chairs in front of the door. Like I would literally act like a lunatic. You would have thought someone was coming for me at all times after that. I was never like that. I feared nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Before that happened. And I wouldn't go to I used to have to wake up at the crack of dawn the second it got light out to go to the gym in order to start my day, and because I couldn't go at night.
I know exactly how you feel with that. I used to go to the gym at 2 it was like 12 a.m. at night. I'd get there probably about 11:45, walk inside about 12, work out, leave at like 2:30, and then I'm right back at home.
Those moments define you. I know they're not supposed to, but they do. They define you, and it tests your strength. I think it took me a long. I mean, I still have nightmares about it. There are triggers that I will be somewhere and I play the moment over in my head.
Yeah,
I don't think that ever goes away.
There's a movie that I refuse to watch now. I'll never watch it again. Like I watched it actually when it was in theaters, not knowing what I was getting myself into, and could you imagine like the freak out that I had in the movie theater?
It's triggers. It's for me. It just, you can't, and everybody has an opinion, of course, because people are assholes. And I feel like a lot of people said some really nasty stuff to me when it happened. And you never know, right? Like until you never think you're going to be that person. Like you see stuff happen on the news and you never think it's going to be you, and you have no idea how to cope with it until you're in that moment and you don't have a choice. Right.
No, I mean, I don't even. You can't plan for that.
Yeah.
What's the name of my guy that was? You ever see Wolverine?
Wolverine with the guy with the British accent, Hugh Jackman.
That's his name.
Yeah, he's British, right?
I think he's actually from down under.
Oh, well, look at me and my geography.
Yeah, he's Australian. No, I'm trying to find the name of that movie.
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
I just know that he was in it.
I don't really like him.
What?
Not a fan.
Come on, that's Wolverine, man.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I think it was called...
Not Panic Room.
No, it was called Prisoners, I think.
Oh, Jesus. That just sounds...
Yeah. It's called Prisoners. Yep.
Well, I have never seen it, and now I don't think I ever want to watch it.
Yeah, nah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say it wasn't a good movie, but like it just had me
It just
had me all messed up.
Yeah, it hit a core with you.
Yeah. Yes. So, but what I do to cope is I went to therapy for a long time.
Yeah, it's the best.
Long time. Probably I think I was in therapy for about 3 or 4 years. Then I was on medication for a while. I kind of dialed that back though. I tampered back and didn't stop taking the meds. I didn't want to take any meds anymore.
I never took meds.
But probably should still be taking them.
Yeah, I believe in the holistic route, but clearly namaslaying is not working for me, so maybe I should have.
I forget what they call it. It's like I used to work in a pharmacy, and they used to say it was like I forget. It was like the American cocktail or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Or something crazy like that. And it was like, it's your blood pressure meds, your anti-anxiety meds.
Oh, my
and
God.
And something else. I forget. But
why are therapists so quick to give drugs? Like, I don't understand. I remember because after my incident, I saw a therapist for a long time. And I remember like sitting down with her the first time, and she was just like, "Would you like me to write you a prescription?"
Well,
I'm like, "Lady, you know nothing about me."
That's a bad psychiatrist, though.
It was horrible. I'm like, I didn't even open my mouth yet, and you're already offering me medication.
Yeah, I mean, but that's probably a stigma around this kind of thing too, right? People don't go to get help.
I wanted help. I just did not want her to medicate me.
I know, but I'm saying that's probably why some people don't go to get help, because they think that they're just gonna throw the bottle, like throw a pill container at them and like not really help them. But there's two. But I mean, we haven't got to that part of the pod yet, but and it's coming up. But there's two different kinds of help that you can get when it comes to therapy. Like you have a therapist, you have who's your licensed, therapist, like LCSW. That kind of, that person. And then you have your psychiatrist. Psychiatrist gives the drugs. The therapist just asks the questions.
Well, dang, maybe I went to the wrong lady.
Well, the psychiatrist is going to give you the drugs. You usually have a psychiatrist, and then you have.
But I think this girl was both.
That's possible.
Yeah, like I think she was both of those things.
It's possible. Yeah.
So how you cope? How do you cope? Besides going to therapy, there has to be some other way.
I mean,
please shed the light.
You want to share the light?
I need some wisdom.
I just used to drink.
Okay, that is not what we're promoting here. That is not the answer.
No. I mean, nowadays, I can't even really tell you.
That's horrible. Like what you just said totally just struck a chord with me, because the incident that I had not too long ago, our last pod that I was on a rant talking about this, like it involves someone that basically was saying, oh, I just drink too much all the time. And like, that is horrible. That is part of mental health awareness. Like, go get help. I encourage people that if you think you have a problem, go talk to someone.
Nah, now I got friends, you're a friend. I talk to my friends, and I just kind of just try to do things that take my mind off of stuff. Like I play ball, I go out exercise, and that's really all I've been doing. That's it. I'd be with my lady.
You and I are very big sounding boards. I feel like we we'll call and start yelling about something, and then just be like, okay, I gotta go, and hang up, and then you feel better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I got got dogs.
My dogs are certified therapy dogs.
Well, you're good then. You got your therapist sitting on your lap.
Yeah. I will tell you that people think that that's funny. It's no lie. Like, there's something about a dog, and my dogs are super snuggly. Like, they snuggle you, and you just feel safe.
Just give them a big hug.
Yeah.
And kisses.
There's nothing like a puppy.
Wet nose. Go nose to nose with them.
Yep. They're snuggle bugs.
Well, yeah. I mean that. That's what I've been doing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's been like a thing where I went from, the alcohol and partying and just trying to be out and doing those types of things. As I was going through therapy, trying to be medicated, my therapist would be like, "Hey, you should try and go out this weekend."
Oh God.
And I'd be like, all right, and I'll try to go out, and I end up just going out and getting wild.
But I have a question about that, not to interrupt you. Why do you think, I feel like a lot of people use that as an excuse for bad behavior, right? Like, oh, I was depressed. Oh, I had anxiety. So I went out, I turned up, I got wasted, and I acted a fool and acted reckless.
I think there's two different kinds of things that we're talking about here.
There's not. I feel like people say they use illness or a problem as a crutch to act poorly.
But I think they're lying is what I'm saying. Like, they're just saying that shit. I don't
know, always. Do you think?
Oh, I went out this weekend and I'm so depressed and I got messed up, and yeah, get the fuck out of here with that, dude. That's like come on.
But a lot of people do that.
That's not real.
But a lot of people do it.
I'm saying that the people that just say it like that, like how you explained it, like that shit's not real.
If I counted how many times somebody has said to me, "Oh, I wasn't in a good headspace. I wasn't
called
thinking."
Out on some shit. Like,
yeah, like
fuck that.
That is wild.
It just made me tight.
Own your actions.
No, yeah, I'm good on that.
I just can't see using my anxiety or my mental well-being as an excuse to act poorly.
I'll be damned what the hell, who do I look like saying, "Oh, yo, my bad, bro. I didn't mean to break your glass table because I was so smashed last night, I've just been so depressed over blah blah blah.
You're gonna try to tell me you haven't known someone that's done that?
Get the fuck out of here. That just sounds stupid.
But you haven't known someone that's done that. You have to.
I mean, I'm sure I have, but it's just some clown shit. It sounds like to me.
Well, I'm just saying.
It just sounds crazy. Whoever said that to you, like, fucking clown.
Okay, stop cursing.
Sorry.
This is wow. Like
that just made me mad though. Like that, like. Because that's somebody who's lying when someone is actually experiencing a real life like
but a
situation.
lot of people, when they panic, they start like saying shit like that. It's out of panic.
Out of panic because they got caught out doing some like
okay,
it's not
next. All right, well, he's getting turned up right now. Okay, next.
Like I'm just saying. I know you're just saying.
I know our listeners can relate to me. Y'all, if you all know what I'm talking about, unpolishedpod@yahoo.com, please hit me up because this man is getting turned.
And I hope if y'all ever hear that, you tell them they're a clown.
Use the clown emoji. We send that to each other often.
Sound like some clown stuff if you ask me. Oh.
Okay, Kirk, enough. Next topic.
This got me salty. Like.
Oh my god. I thought I had like freedom of speech on this.
It is freedom of speech. You said your piece, and I'm saying mine. They're a clown.
You're like me last week or 2 weeks ago when I was going on my rant.
Oh man. Well, as we stated before, anxiety in the U.S. Is the most common mental disorder. So let's jump into some stats and some data about anxiety. So anxiety in the U.S., number one, anxiety in the U.S., most people have, they're between serious to moderate to mild impairments, right? So 22.8% of people are experiencing serious impairments for anxiety. 33.7% are experiencing a moderate form of anxiety and a moderate impairment, and 43.5% are experiencing some form mild impairment of anxiety in the United States right now.
Can I hit you with the fun fact?
Fun fact?
So when I was looking up all this data, Las Vegas has the least number of people impacted by mental health issues.
Wow.
How wild is that?
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Do you know who has the highest?
Who has the highest?
Vermont. They were like well up in like 48, I think, or 50%. Kind of crazy.
Ain't nothing good happening in Vermont.
I feel like it's just the middle of nowhere.
I mean, they got what?
Syrup.
Maple syrup.
Right?
Oh, no, Vermont syrup. No, it's still maple syrup. There's
it's
trees
syrup.
Yeah.
Because there's like deer.
I don't know. Whenever I think of the maple, like a maple leaf, I just think Canada.
I think of Buddy the Elf. I'm sorry.
Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
It's May.
But he put syrup on everything.
Oh my goodness. I know the scene.
I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, I just
found it a serious topic.
I know, but I found it very interesting that we're going to do a whole episode on Vegas because I feel like people hate on us all the time for how much we love Vegas. They say it's dirty. They say it's this. It is not any of the above. Okay, it is not what people tell you. And so we're gonna dedicate a whole, maybe in June we'll do it, a whole episode to Vegas and why it's so amazing. But it does not surprise me. I mean, being in Vegas, it is so mellow and chill when you're not on the strip, like not in the chaos. But everybody is there's just a different mentality out there. Even like driving on the highways, it's not like chaotic here. Their highways suck, but it's not, the driving isn't as bad. It's just, it did not surprise me to read those statistics.
No, I love Vegas. And it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised that they're number one.
It is a little weird.
But
I can
number one for the good side, like not having.
It's crazy when you think about it too. Like I was a little surprised, like you, like people have issues out there, like gambling problems, and there's a big there's a
but you know what? Too,
messy population.
Some people I was gonna say a lot of people probably have money, but
when you go to the nice like Summerlin and some parts of Henderson,
you're saying Nevada the state as a whole, or Las Vegas as the city, like
it's
city
Nevada as a whole.
Okay, got you.
So you're taking into consideration Vegas, Henderson, Summerlin,
right?
All those places. So yeah, but what I was reading too, and you probably have the statistics on your desk, but a lot of people don't get help, and so we spoke about that earlier. Like you need to get help in some form, even if you can't go to a doctor. There are support groups, or it was the article I was reading was talking a lot about how some insurance, they don't support mental health and all these things, which is so terrible. But there are other ways to get help for this stuff.
Yeah, there are a couple different ways. But some of the before we get into that, but some of the most common forms of anxiety are starting with specific phobias. Those are like the most common are the specific phobias, and then it's followed by social anxieties, PTSD, general anxiety disorder, and then panic disorders are the last.
Jeez.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's different when you bring this to light, like when you see statistics about it, because you never really think about that. I mean, I had no idea that OCD was part of my anxiety until I read all that.
What kind of OCD? Is that like on its own?
It's obsessive.
I know, but that's on its own plane. It's not like like a panic, or it's not a.
No, but it's looped into anxiety. So
no,
when
I
was reading about it, I had no idea that it was. I've had OCD for as long as I can remember, but I think I get that from my mom.
Yeah, that's it. I know that these kind of disorders are definitely prevalent through like.
Does anybody in your family have anxiety like you?
Oh yeah, my mom.
So you
she has anxiety. I don't know if she has the type of anxiety I have.
I just get so scared of like passing this on to my kid.
I mean, pass everything on to your kids.
It's frightening.
I hate to say it like that. I didn't mean to say it like that. That was kind of crazy, but it's true though.
You're acting up today, Kirkland.
The clowns, and they got me going.
You're acting up.
Jeez.
Might have to kick you off the next episode. Oh shoot, I can't do this without you. Darn.
So 26 one of the most astounding stats that we have of the day, I think, is that 264 million adults have an anxiety disorder or have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder around the world. 264 million.
That is a big number.
That was a stat that was given back in 2018.
So imagine now, after going through COVID and everything else that happened.
I mean, 63% female, 37% male.
You said 67% female?
63% female, 37% male.
So it's more common in females.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Why do you think that it is more prevalent in females?
Because y'all got a whole lot more to worry about.
Well, dang.
Nah, I was totally joking. I have no idea.
It's interesting to me.
I have no idea.
I also feel like chicks are real dramatic, which is why I have very little girlfriends. All my friends are dudes. I can't handle it.
Sheesh.
It's too much. Thank God I had a boy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
What else you got over there?
Probably genetics.
God.
Yeah.
You have any more stats?
That was the only one. I mean, we already dropped off that there's 40 million adults impacted in the U.S. And that was like one of the main reasons why we wanted to do anxiety. So, it's something that is real. It is very real. And for that reason, it's very important that if you are experiencing anything like this, you definitely should get help.
Yeah, and I would just say, don't ignore this stuff. Well, even if you don't get help and you don't want to get help, don't ignore it. I think that is one of my biggest flaws of ignoring it and not taking care of myself, because I'm so busy worrying about everybody else, everything else around me. Don't do that. Don't ignore it. If you're struggling or you are having feelings that you don't know what they are, and it could be anxiety, it is so important. Talk to a friend, a family member, somebody, because sometimes just talking about it helps. And know that you're, like the stats Kirk just read, you're not alone. There are so many people impacted. We want to hear your stories. unpolishedpod@yahoo.com. Talk to us if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
we don't know you.
Definitely.
We don't know you. We don't judge. This is a non-judgment zone.
Judgment-free zone here.
Yes, Planet Fitness. God. We encourage.
I'm so over you today.
I'm over you as well, but we encourage to talk about this. We want to, this is why we even created this pod, is to bring this stuff to light. So use us as your sounding board, the way we use each other.
Yeah, and I mean there's different ways to get help. I mean, it's not all about therapy, or it's not all about, taking medication. There's alternate ways to work your way through these things. Like talk to somebody, like one of your friends, or a professor, a teacher, a guidance counselor, or something like that. Go out, get some exercise, get some fresh air, go on a walk.
Meditation.
Meditate.
Yoga
for sure. That was actually one of the top things that was on the list for alternate ways to cope and get help. And believe it or not, your diet can help with these types of things.
I believe that. The more junk you put into your body, the more your body reacts.
Yeah. Less sauce and less getting lit.
Exactly. Water. Drink water and take care of your skin. Those are tips from GlamSlay. You heard it here.
Self-care tips?
Water and mind your business.
And
stay in your lane. Take care of your skin. And mind your business.
Take care of your mentals.
Oh, here we go.
Take care of your chicken.
I can't. I warned him about this before we got on the air, and
your
he's
mentals and your
continuing
chicken.
to do it. Anyway, what else you got? Is that all you got?
Not, like, in all seriousness, take care of your mentals and take care of your chicken.
And your skin, and drink water and mind your business. Stay in your lane.
Yeah. I think that was all of it.
Well, I do want to end on a positive note, because this was heavy conversation. Next episode next week, we are celebrating GlamSlay's 40th birthday and National GlamSlay Day. I wish I had sound effects.
I know.
So it's going to be fun. We're going to celebrate. We're going to turn up on air. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you tune in.
Are we going to pop champagne?
Maybe tequila.
Oh, so tequila shots.
Yeah.
Are we going to be talking like this?
No. Oh, my God. It's going to be a lot of fun. We love you for listening. We thank you for listening. And we want your comments, your questions, topics at unpolishedpod@yahoo.com. Hit us up. And don't forget, be afraid and do it anyway.
And as always, peace and love, y'all.